And if you're a producer, learn how to engineer. Still record yourself. Shout out Pierre. Shout out all these producers that are making like their own music. And they're having all publishing. Pierre is doing what Pharrell did. You and Chad is 2 people, 25%. Write the hook. It's another like 25%. You have 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a lot of the song. Get more of the song.
Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community. And I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So let's go back. I know you talked about it taking maybe about 8 years before you actually started getting real professional, well-paying opportunities. But how long total would you say you've been making beats?
I'm 32, so I started at 18. So yeah, about like 14 years or so. Yeah, that'd be about 14 years. So like, you know, almost 15, you know, I was in metal bands in high school and stuff. So I was always like musical, but I just never took it serious. And FL5 came around. That's how, like, when I first started out, like FL5, because I really didn't have the money or the budget, you know, which I always throw that word out to people. People get scared of that word when you say budget, and budget isn't like a big bad word yet. But like I didn't have a budget for a big studio or MPC, because that was the era we had to have a Triton MPC, you know, say the Phantom, and I didn't have no money for that. Like my parents, I dropped out after freshman year. They said, "You're an asshole, get out." And so I had to figure it out. So it took me a minute to be able to put yourself in a position where you could really understand what really is a real sound. You know, I feel like a lot of kids want to skip that part, understanding like harmonics, frequencies, before you get into any of all that other stuff. And we always just want to be like, can this beat go hard? Can it loud? Can this dude like this? Can I sound like this guy? And like half the time you're not even realizing you just don't got the reps like he does. Like it's really ain't even like the equipment, it's the reps. The amount of reps that you get in and quality reps. There's a lot of kids that be over there every day making 1 million beats a day. That might be great, but like what type of reps are you getting? Are you around people that are gonna elevate you, or are you just by yourself doing nothing? And that took me a minute to figure out the difference between how to really work hard in the studio and do it the right way.
It's so crazy how there's always some kind of negative dialogue or some kind of conflict in the producer community. But the prominent one around the time that I think both of us started really making beats seriously was the analog versus digital, hardware versus software. And it was such a ugly conversation. It was a weird environment to be in because the new producers were using, you know, FL, Cubase,
Studio One,
Studio, whatever
Acid,
was,
bro.
you know what I mean? And now that conversation doesn't even happen anymore. And it kind of, I think Ninth Wonder was a big part of changing that narrative, but
yeah,
now we've moved on.
Thrown off that like he made all his sample beats on FL, and I was like, man, like I couldn't even afford sound, so like I understand like chopping shit, but like, dog, when he said he used this shit in FL, I was like, yeah, I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track, because everybody used to clown me like, oh, you in Fruity Loops? That's just stupid. Like, oh, you don't got an MPC? Oh, you don't got a Triton? It's like, no, I don't, but I can make this beat faster than you. And isn't it the goal to get the sauce? It don't matter how long you do it. It's just getting it done. Right.
Well, yeah, and then now the conversation is, you know, who uses loops and who doesn't, or it never ends.
I had this discussion with a homie, and he was like, "Oh, these kids," like, because I work with a lot of young guys. Shout out to the young producers. Shoot your shot. If you're on the internet, shoot your shot. You never know who's going to listen, who's going to respond, and you have that access. And he was like, "Man, all he wants to do is send me loops. He never wants to get in the studio." I was like, well, one, the kid's in France, so he can never get here. He's 18 years old, and he sends you probably about like a 20-pack a day every time he sends you. I'm like, use it, Aaron. It takes you 1 million years to like make a beat, but at the same time, this kid's making loops after loops after loops. And isn't it like a sample anyway? Wasn't that like you sample? I started off sampling, so I'm like, isn't that like a co-pro sample now. Now I can actually go to this guy and he can send me the stems of the sample, and then we don't have to go to no clearance. All we got to do is just pay the homie. It's a win-win. I don't understand why, like, oh, I don't want to do that. That makes you less of a producer. No, it just makes you a person who don't want to get some money. That's all. You don't want the placement, huh? Or, you know, you don't want the record to get out. And it's funny, that debate, that loop, and if you could make it. I was just in the studio yesterday with some guys with perfect pitch. I could kind of name out some keys and be like, okay, yeah, that's A flat minor, or like, you know what I'm saying? But I have some homies that have perfect pitch. And it's like, but those guys work with a lot of loop makers. It's like, if these guys can do it and they can do all that cool stuff and they still work with loop makers, what's the difference? Like, I feel like people have too many opinion and not worried about the output. Like, are we getting the music? Do you still feel the emotion with it? That's what I feel like is lacking with things. It's just like, why are we so hell-bent on what's the right way? Because there is, it's like a thing, because we always say there's no right and wrong way, but there is in a certain standpoint of when you're going with the algorithm, harmonics and things. But when it comes to just getting the song out, man, most of these old guys didn't have shit. And like DJ Quick, he still uses all his old school shit, and that amazes me. But he can still make a beat fast, so not everybody can do that. But then there's like, you know, the Ninth Wonders who use FL. He could do the same thing that he be doing, but on FL. I've seen how he runs it. He still runs it like the old school setup. It's like, because I'm a nerd. I was just on Instagram Live watching all the old Zaytoven shit. So when he used to make beats, him and Ryan Leslie tricked the internet. Zaytoven was the only person really like making beats. Ryan Leslie tricked the internet on those beat videos. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel people are too worried about the wrong things with this music, especially producers, and not worried about just getting this record out, getting outside of your house. I feel like that's really the big problem. People are afraid to go get into the studio because it's hard to get into the studio with these artists, building real relationships. Most of my placements aren't from a text message and ain't no email, and it's from the studio, being in the studio. And a lot of people are afraid because that takes a long time to get in the studio. You know this, man. It takes a long time to get with these artists. It takes a long time to earn the respect. All these guys got in-house producers, in-house management, in-house A&Rs, all that shit. They're getting emails, beats galore. So you want to compete with that? You want to compete with that? No. Still, real relationships work great. Still work great. Still work great. But you're always going to get these opinionated people because we're in this participation award era, where everybody feels like they should get it. Everybody feels they have a hit record before the stats say they have a hit record. Everybody tells their homie, it's a hit. Oh, it's not. We have new forms of music. We have like a TikTok lane. You can't even hate on that because that is, it's like, you know, Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. It's good for the sport. It's good for the music. Like, shit, it's getting the records out, right? Ultimately, are we trying to get the records out? Ultimately, are we trying to like make money off the art? Aren't we trying to take this in control of our hands? Versus like what? We keep sampling and not using these loop makers and what? Cutting the pub? A lot of these guys haven't had those big records where those big contracts come into play. You have to cut all that pub, give up points, and you get nothing, pretty much get a work for hire, and the song go triple platinum because you had to sample a song, and you get nothing, and you only get that hourly wage kind of per se. You only get like what, like $1,000 maybe, and these guys are making millions, but then you're going to go on the internet and complain like I got done wrong, but no. You got mad because you didn't want to go and get the loop makers because these guys might be talented. There's a lot of things that go into this stuff, and I just feel like it's a lot of people who really never did it or really never tried to do it for real. Like, not like this, the popularity did it. Like, do you have the stats? Do you have the plaques? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have, like, consistently year by year, are you in the top tier of what you work field? Because it fluctuates. You know, I had a hot streak and then I went cold, boy. Cold. And it got like, and then it's like, man, because I was in that old school thinking, oh, I'm only making a beat myself. I don't want to work with nobody. I don't want to produce with these guys. Oh, don't send me loops. That's stupid. I can make it right now. Oh, like, then you're not going to miss out on opportunities. Then you're going to miss out on the placements. Then you're going to not get hot. And nowadays, there's a new producer. We all have the same kits. We all have the same fucking, like, you know what I'm saying, VSTs. Everything's the same. But nobody wants to work hard. It's like opportunity-based, but no hard work. You come from a different era though, Payne. So it's like, you understand, I feel like, and I also allow a lot of these young guys, shout out to Nate, Nate is dope, Nate got smoke. A lot of young producers, when they come to LA, I allow them to come to the studio. Just don't just hit me up and just try to just send me loops, bro. Try to be try to build a relationship. Because I have people that come here. I'm a relationship type guy, and I see there's a lot of guys with 1,000 followers on Instagram that got a hard drive full of heat. It'd be killing me how many people get shunned because socially you look like a quote-unquote loser. You're not popping on the net. But this guy has heat. But this guy with 1 million followers can't make shit for shit. It's a weird game.
No, it's weird because the optics don't match up with the reality. But at the same time, too, what you said was key, too, because I had somebody, and I talked to this about with Seth and Afterthought. We talked about getting inundated with loops, and I'm sure if your email address got leaked at any point, you're getting loops sent to you every day by people you don't know from a can of paint. And for me, it's the same thing because you can't not have your email address out there because you want to do business. People want to contact you, book you, whatever. People take advantage of that, start sending you stuff you didn't ask for. So I will always just say, hey, do we know each other or how do we know each other? And usually the answer is, I don't know you. I just got your email. Wanted to send you some loops. Like, why didn't you DM me first? Why didn't you introduce yourself? Why didn't you try to be cool with me first, see how my day was, instead of just saying, here's what I got. You don't know me, but make me a part of your process that you've been working on for, a decade plus.
These kids learned how to communicate from video games, from AOL Instant Messenger. Like, these kids are past that. We kind of had to go talk, and it's that weird, damn, you didn't even want to say hi? Damn, ask me how my day is. Anytime they just try to go what's your loop email? I just respond, I was like, man, I'm good, man. How about yourself? Because I want you to start speaking to me, bro. I know you're not going to do it. I know you're just going to just hope I answer this DM and take this loop, and then you recognize this loop, or I, for some reason, chime you in. Because a lot of these kids get finessed. Because, man, there's more and more YouTube videos of how to take these loops and change it so you don't even know it's a loop than any other type of YouTube tutorials. It's getting wild and insane where it's just okay, man, you can run that risk. Keep trying to not build that relationship. Your loop's going to be out there because you gave it for free. You can put that little stupid email thing, but if you really have a real lawyer, that's going to get eaten up. That little disclaimer at the bottom of the email when they send the loops, and it's if you use this, it's blah, blah, blah. My lawyer's going to fry that. You won't want to do it, but you're a pioneer of marketing though. So I feel going to you and not skipping that is very insulting. It's kind of why are you even trying to work with DJ? But you're a guy who's been giving the game. You've been giving the game. We gotta give a round of applause for you because you've been giving the game to all these guys for years on how to actually build a relationship and still not really be in the studio like that. And really find the middle point of not getting screwed over and really getting the worth out of your production without having, how you said, how you grinded for years and just, got that real backing. It's not in that era anymore. Nowadays, if you have one or two placements, you're this, you're that. And I'm just man, bro, God, do I got to take a picture of my grandparents' house so I can flex those plaques and stuff like that? The real records, but whenever you had to sell records, when the digital streaming era was just kind of coming around, because I was still around when that shit wasn't really going. When you still had Apple Music, really all the streaming stuff wasn't working. And those guys still back in the day, they're shot out too. Maybe all that records ain't selling the same. It's just people don't want to tangibly touch anything anymore. We don't have CDs anymore. If your Wi-Fi goes out, you're kind of out of a lot of your music. You're out of a lot of your beats. I just had to switch over my Pro Tools iLock or the iLock thing because they're cloud, and my fucking Wi-Fi went out for a second, and it's damn, if I can't get to the Wi-Fi, I have nothing. And it's we have to start treating things like that too when it comes to our stuff, because once you get to these big dogs, they don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. When the business comes into it, we're creatives. And then when the business comes, this is a three-headed horse: legal, corporate, and creatives. And legal represents corporate. So you have to start educating yourself, start going to DJ Payne's and start like reading the shit that he is like typing out to you, listening to the shit that he's saying to you, because if not, you're going to be these guys that just complain on the internet, getting taken advantage of because they're naive to think that these people aren't going to take advantage of you. As a person who has to pay people, and shout out Seth, he helps me out with everything, payroll god over there, man. Payroll, Seth is a multiple hat guy. Everybody need to learn like that too. Do more. But it's like these kids and us, we have to allow the buffer. So I'm the guy who complains, like the older guy, like y'all niggas, it's crazy. But I also allow these guys to come in. Take off that ego. Who cares? Let's work. Learn these things, because I want to hear the music sound better. I went out to the club yesterday and I realized there's a certain era of music that was great. And right now there's like a few. And it's like, we're not trying to share. We have to understand we have to vibrate with each other. We don't all know the right thing. We need to use each other. Like, we need to spread the love, because the music is kind of getting there, but the unison is fake right now. And it's just because it's forced. It's not fake, it's forced. We need to get back to like, hey, bandish. Like, let's work more. It's starting to get there, but we really need to. The music's going to sound better. I had to step out to the club yesterday. It was great. But if I want to say as a sober listener, please, can we all just join together? Join together. Use this. Because all this stupid shit, this was gifts. Like, these are earned. Like, people be blowing their whole money on that shit. Like, Seth's sitting in a room where there's like a cool $80,000 worth of equipment. Like, invest into yourself. I bought equipment before I got all this stupid shit, and they were all gifts because I earned them. But you need to get this equipment, kid. Like, you need to be focused in, like, if you want to be an engineer, you should focus on a certain right setup. If you're a producer, what's your good beat setup? Not for you, not what this guy has. Just don't get an MSI because he got an MSI. Just don't get an Apple. Just don't get, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because all these things are the same now. Like, I've been using all this shit. Logic. I ain't gonna lie. Logic's kind of crazy. Ableton Logic. Y'all niggas is crazy. I'm FL gang for life, but I'm liking some of the new things, and they're all kind of the same. They're all the same. We really all have the same thing. So we need to start sharing for real, because we all use the same shit. And everybody's using Arcade and fucking that shit. Like, come on. Okay, I named literally 20 songs yesterday. Like, I know what bank that is. So it's like, if we can stop getting out of this naive thinking that we all don't use the same shit, be all the same shit, we need to start doing it. If not, there's going to be a diselect. And we're going to keep having this weird genres of music that come out of nowhere that don't last. And then we get mad because... what do you want? It's easily digestible. You know, Ruth Chris has better hamburgers, but you're always going to see McDonald's, right? Like, it's like, if you always keep seeing this bullshit, you're always going to keep digesting it. We all have to start helping out. The older guys got to help out. Younger guys got to start listening. Like, that's all I got to say. Because I can keep going in, because this stuff, I'm so passionate about music, and I love what you do. And I want to start being able to, like, help out with people like, you know, Music Entrepreneur Club and BeatStars, any way, shape, or possible for, like, an information lookout. Like, even the young artists, I have 1 million fucking beats. If you really need to learn how to figure out a budget and work with an artist, like, I want to be able to figure out, like, a platform, a way with you guys to, like, how can you build with a producer? Not, like, buy his beats. How can we build? Can we think about, are you working on a project? Like, what is your trajectory? Like, do you even give a fuck about your music? Like, what are you trying to do versus just like this, hey, shooting a dark DM thing? It's like, man, we have to start giving this shit. Because if not, the music's going to suck. And everything I learned was from the studio and from real reps. You can't learn it from a book. You can't learn it from a tutorial. You got to, like, start bringing these kids in, man. And I want to start being able to give more like how you do. Because I appreciate things like that. Because on the late night, I'll be reading and I'll be on these like YouTube like webisode series and just watching the shit. And like the information needs to be given. It's not all needs to be sold shit. That shit is stupid. When you touched on it when you first came in, these high priced ass sell beat things, stupid. I understand it. That's your lane. Some people like to get money from that stuff, but there's places like BeatStars that give you free information. If you build with them, if you want to learn, be a student, humility, you can learn. And if not, you know, I want to encourage some of the guys that are like me who really did it, who still do it. Because, like, shit, last year I was on 4 #1 albums. This year I was on Khaled's album. Like, I'm still, like, you know, a guy that still is in the top tier. Help these guys out. You never know. It's one record away. One record away, man. Like, we're one record away. Yeah. We're one record away. Start giving more. If not, we're going to be in this shitty industry.
Yeah, and I feel, you know, part of it, too, is constantly giving that information and from every angle possible, because I'm seeing a lot of newer producers who haven't gotten to the point yet where they even believe in their own ability to make a living, getting frustrated, getting negative, and rebelling against all of the good information. And so what ends up happening is someone else comes along and says, nah, don't listen to these people trying to tell you that you can make money off of BeatStars or YouTube. I got a course for $400. I'll show you the way. And then they pay that money, and it's not really valuable. You can get it all for free from other people's platforms.
You're 100% right. And I would like to help buffer that way to find those ways, if not, like, you know what I'm saying, to having people like, you know, like you even coming to the studio and doing your own thing in here, like, you know what I'm saying, in studios, us working more, even like, you know what I'm saying, having classes, because I'm all about that. I'm about to start, like, shout out Rants from 1500 or Nothing. They got a school. They really give back to the community. And, like, you know, they give the information, because that's how we got to teach this thing, man. All the knowledge, really how to, like, tweak frequencies and EQ vocals come from being in the studio. It ain't come from no book. I didn't go to audio and engineering school. And I'm 5-time Grammy nominated Diamond engineer. I engineered See You Again. Like, that's a big song. Like, track the vocals. Like, there's different, and that's another thing too. Y'all got to start knowing the branches. Like, I mastered it being a tracking engineer and then like arranging engineer. I don't say I mix and master people's songs. I hate when people lie to you about that. Like, you probably don't even have the mastering equipment for it, brother. But it's like we have to start giving that buffer, bro. And if I can help you out in any shape or form, I want to use this right now today to be like, hey, man, I'm all on your team. Whatever you need from me to help give more information, because it needs to be given. It don't need to be sold. I don't need to sell you this information. Now, if you want Ricky P experience, if you want to be in the studio with Ricky P, you want Ricky P to work with you, obviously that's like that's different. But, man, if you want to really properly learn how to EQ a vocal or just structure a vocal chain, like, I hate when people ask for my templates. My templates never work for any of you guys. My templates only work for my setup. I can show these cats how to properly make a template for your setup. And please don't put Vocal Router in it. Please just don't put Vocal Router in your template. I've been having to mix a lot of guys, these younger guys. Can y'all please stop putting Vocal Router in it? I know we got to stay true to the time, but just please, no Vocal Router. No Vocal Router in your vocal chain, please.
I've never had luck with Vocal Router. It always makes things sound weird.
It's a stupid plugin. It doesn't do anything. Like, it's a placebo effect. It's a placebo effect. You literally, it's like when an artist like, hey, yo, can you, my vocal, yeah. You just pull up a plugin thing, and then you just put it back down. It looks like you did something. Like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, yeah, that's what Vocal Router does. It doesn't do anything. It pisses me off.
All right. So what came first? Engineering or beat making or being a recording artist yourself? Because you wear all three hats.
What do you mean, more of like of working, or what came first?
Just what came first for you? Did you do all of them simultaneously?
I did. I was in a band. I was in like a screamo band. I was a bass player and a screamer, and then I started making stupid ass rap songs, bro. I was like in the Dipset and like fucking State Prop and stuff. So I was like philosophical, and like there's even still like some random floating ciphers that I was in. Like, I was like into that shit, but it never worked. It were stupid songs. They were fun, but I fell in love with engineering because like my homie his girlfriend didn't believe in us. She was like, these are stupid songs, and they were stupid songs. Shout out Susie. You were right. They were stupid songs, but shout out Susie. You gave me a lot of motivation to go and get it, because Nick showed me how to record myself. And from then on, it really was like engineering first. And I tell people that's my vessel. Engineering got me in the door. Like, I'm a cool producer, but I'm a better engineer. Engineering got me in the door. Engineering showed me a way. Engineering's my job. Okay, like that's my job. Okay, get a job, guys. Please, if you're a producer, learn how to engineer. Because those days when your beats aren't selling, that's when you're gonna feel it. Then you're gonna get mad. Then you're gonna lose that motivation. Please get a job. Please get a job. But engineering came first. Engineering came first, and everything else. Once I got my publishing deal with BMG, Sony BMG, I started. They put you in writing sessions and all those like kind of like producer sessions. So I started just learning how to write, and I started understanding the publishing. I didn't understand publishing for real until I signed my publishing deal. Like people who hate on deals, it taught me a lot. I thought I knew a lot, but it showed me what I really need to focus on as a producer and how to, if I give up publishing or if I'm co-producing with you, how can I get more of this publishing back? Or how can I just stay a part of this song? I feel like people don't understand, like, you should just probably get a song. Like, just get part of the song. Just get part of the song. How publishing works, you're always going to be, if you get a part of the song, you're always going to get some money off it. I love my royalty checks. They're great. Like, you know what I'm saying? They come in handy. Learn how to get the publishing. But, like, all the other things is when I do, like, my artistry, that comes from free time. So it was like engineering, producing kind of came throughout it. And right now my artistry thing, it's just in my free time stuff. Maximize your time, kids. If you can't maximize your time, you're wasting your time. And if I'm not working in the studio with an artist, I'm learning my new tricks with myself. Like if I'm trying to, lately I've been side chaining my reverbs with artists. Like I've been doing gates and this random little nerd shit, but I can't try it new with an artist. Artists are weird. They don't want to be like, oh, don't do that shit. Just keep it how I like it. Where me, I can practice, I could exaggerate, I could, understand like the dynamics of it. So when I do use it, it's go. It's just like that. It's just like that. Like, damn, you did that? Oh yeah. Even though they don't realize I got like 7 songs where I fucked up and on it, but I understand how to use it. So like my artistry is like, it's free time. It's free money. I got the studio. I record myself. I'm making a beat. If not, it's the guys who I'm working with, who I'm making placements with. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all the same. It's still constant advertising. It's still constant like, hey, just come over here. Ricky P has the sauce, whatever you need. Even if you hear these songs that aren't even out, you can like it. We could change some of these words. You could rewrite, like you could re-sing it and it's yours. We all know that's how these reference songs are. I hate when people hate on people writing people's songs. There's a lot of people out. Shout out my homegirl Jaws. She is killing it in the game. Like there's a lot of people out here making a living off of writing songs, and that's where I'm at now. It's like a full circle thing because when I started, it was just bullshit. And now it's like, hey, because even my artistry, it's not like the focal point of all that stuff. It's my journal.
But it's fun though, and you need that.
Hell yeah! If nobody's ever gone to the booth and ever put auto-tune and some delay on your voice with some reverb, you haven't lived life. You haven't lived life. You haven't tried it. Like, it's amazing. But it's a fun process because Seth just mentioned it earlier. He's never really seen anybody engineer me. And there's only really been like 2 people like really engineer me. Shout out my boy Priyo. He works here. He's a young goat. And Aaron, he mainly was an engineer now. And those guys are the only 2 that record me. But I'm like, shoot, I like to do it's the process. Like, damn, you hear the beat. Then like coming up with the idea and then it's like sitting there and recording myself, piecing it together and being able to be Picasso. That's amazing. And it's like, you can't, I will try to encourage all these young guys to do it. If you're a young artist, learn how to record yourself. Learn how to record yourself. It's going to save you some money on your budget because it's a real thing. And if you're a producer, learn how to engineer. Still record yourself. Shout out Pierre. Shout out all these producers that are making like their own music. And they're having all publishing. Pierre is doing what Pharrell did. You and Chad is 2 people, 25%. Write the hook. It's another like 25%. You have 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a lot of the song. Get more of the song. If you know how to produce a song and make the song, write it. That's 100% publishing. Let that song blow up. Smokey Robinson couldn't do that. David Ruffin couldn't even do that. There are people back in the day that are the greats couldn't even sit there and record themselves. Please do more. Please. Please.
Here's a question for both of you then. How did you know that the manager-client relationship for the 2 of you was a good fit? I'd like to hear both of your perspectives on that because, obviously taking on an artist is a big deal, and taking on a manager is a big deal. It takes a lot of trust in one another. So I'm curious as to how that happened.
We've had a professional and a creative relationship for years. So really just being in the studio, bro, like I've been in the studio with Ricky for like the past like 5 years, like regardless of what my role was, even if it was just to like be there, pull up, like listen to the music, provide some energy and insight, conversation. Like I used to sleep over in the studio, you know what I mean? We'd go out to like Canoga Park or whatever and just sleep in the studio, you know what I'm saying? So
the Valley just go crazy.
Yeah, the Canoga Park sessions were crazy, but yeah, just like, forming a relationship over the course of like a long time and not taking advantage of things. You know what I'm saying? Like I showed Ricky that I was down and that, and he really put me in position to now try to help put him in position. You know what I'm saying? Like, because being from Pittsburgh, there's no scene there. So there was shit that I had to learn being in the studio, like certain types of etiquette, how to move around the people that he's around, because I was never around nobody like that. And these are things that I'm still learning every day. So yeah, just like a long period of time, just spending time together and working on music together. That's really how this worked. And then, Will is like Ricky's like main manager. And, he like runs Taylor Gang and manages other clients and stuff. So it just came to a point where it was like, okay, we need someone on the ground to help Ricky get organized and then like deliver this stuff to the person who can make like those power moves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then how did you know it was the right fit, Ricky? Because
Seth came down like that. It was like, I always say it's like you got to put things in the universe. We always got to work for it. And Seth came at a crazy time last year when I was really trying to get like back on this organizational thing. Just like, man, I had a lot going on. Wasn't really trying to finish everything. Seth was like, hey, man, I got some free time. Like, I just want to vibe out. Can I just start vibing back out? Because he started like getting back into, he started working at a couple studios and shit. So he really didn't have time to like hang out like how he was saying. Like we were really in the studio a lot. Then he started working in the studio as an engineer, doing a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like post-production work, like staying in the industry without letting it derive him from it. And he came in and he, like he said, he kind of proved it. And man, you got to give a motherfucker a shot. Shit, Wiz gave me a shot, bro. When I came out here, I was a local joker. So I got a shot. I was like, fuck it, man. You want to do it? Fuck it. And he's constantly proving every day. And it's hard dealing with an artist, especially dealing with like a person like me who's like somebody who's like starting artistry. And I'm not like a regular artist. I've already did it. I've done a lot of things that nobody will ever do. So it's like I kind of come with a different, like, energy and all that stuff. And he's resilient, man. I love Seth. Every day he blossoms more and more and more. He's a sponge, man. And I can do a lot of the things that I do now without Seth. We are definitely like a tandem. And Will says it the same thing, too. We was just out at dinner. And it's like, he mentioned like, yo, I'll introduce you to Seth. Seth manages Ricky with myself and all that stuff. It isn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, like Will, he does a lot of the big corporate stuff, but there's no hierarchy. There's no like, hey, we don't treat it like that. We treat it like, hey, we all are learning and growing together. So there's going to be a lot of fuck ups. There's going to be a lot of things that we don't know, but like that's the beauty of music. There's a lot of fuck ups. That's how I got here, was fucking up. Like, what? Luckily, somebody fucked up and Wiz gave me a shot, and then look what happened. I know Seth's going to turn out to a Will. Seth's going to have good money's going to have his list of artists. I'm going to be having to come over there and ask for a job. You know what I'm saying? How Seth works,
Okay, you keep alluding to this this mistake-laden opportunity that you got from Wiz. How did that happen, and how did it lead to you becoming signed as a producer to Taylor Gang?
I love Will. Shout out Will. We've been best friends since like 18, 19. He went to high school with a lot of kids I grew up with. So we just kind of knew each other vicariously. And Wiz and them grew up on the east side. I was on the north side. But like me and Chevy are cousins. So it was like we all kind of knew each other. And they had their own thing. I had my own thing. But Will told me, hey, stop rapping. You suck. Start producing and engineering. You're better at that. Trust me. Just give me, trust me. just work on that. And whenever we're like, you're ready and we need you, I'm going to put you in. And like, dog, it was like some wild shit. And one of the homies couldn't engineer for him. He didn't want to go on tour with them. He didn't want to go on tour with them. And I ironically broke up my girlfriend who moved out here, ended up being a loser. Who dumped me saying I was going to be a loser. Shout out her. Thank you for the motivation. And I moved out of that spot. I literally had to move back in my parents' house. I was like 24. I felt like such a loser. And like day 2 of laying there sulking in my own misery, Will called me. He's like, yo, Blase Blood don't want to go on tour. Do you want to go on tour? I said, does a bear take a shit in the woods? He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to call you in like an hour with your itinerary. Itinerary said I had to leave tomorrow morning. I literally had to ship all my equipment. At that time, shipping and stuff across the U.S. was not good. And literally, I shipped all my equipment. I came on the road about $100 and thugged it. And literally, they gave me an opportunity. I got my first placement with Ty Dolla $ign. It's that work on Beach House EP, his first EP that he ever dropped on Atlantic. I did the first song with him and Twista. Like, it goes into like a double, like, smorgasbord song. I did the second half. We did that on tour. I did that on a tour bus. He gave me an opportunity, and I got my first placement. I literally took a pay cut. I only got paid. It was like ended up being like $1,000 plus per diem. So it ended up really being like I got per diem. So I pretty much only got $1,000. I got ended up like $1,500 for like 3 months. I was on the road for 3.5 months. But that opportunity, literally blessed, and I gave me opportunity because they were like, "Yo, he's always ready." I got cussed out by Julian Kaiser at Quad Studio on that tour. Literally got. Whole bunch of mistakes were going on that tour, but it literally solidified the fact that I'm resilient. It doesn't matter. You can cuss me out. It's cool. I fucked up. I know I probably fucked up, but what I won't do is it again. Now I know. And those mistakes led to this. And I am so thankful that I got that opportunity. They gave me a chance. They didn't have to. That one random motherfucker that didn't want to go, that mistake, turned into this. That opportunity can be the same thing. He wanted to be an artist, all that stuff. He's still talented. Nigga still got a song on my hard drive right now that's fire that he did here. Like, Seth is still a musical genius, but his strong suit is knowing how to piece the shit together. You know, under the crunch, he knows how to just be like, okay, whatever, and get it done. And that's what I've done in my career, and I feel that he could do the same thing in whatever you want to do, because everybody knows you're asleep. They don't know what you're dreaming about. And this man came to me on some awoken, like, bro, I'm ready. I'm ready to manage. Like, I got this good money thing. Like, I have a company. It's a registered company. Like, I am ready. I was like, fuck it, I'm ready too. And we've been going great, bro. I can't say nothing. This last year of us being together, definitely structurally, you know what I'm saying? Give people a try. Give people a chance, man. Give people a chance. You never know what will happen. Never know.
Okay, so we definitely have to talk about two things. We only have about 13 minutes left.
It's cool.
Definitely got to talk about these two things. One, going diamond, because that's a big deal. Very few people go gold and platinum, let alone diamond. So, and you already kind of talked about what your role in See You Again, which was a massive hit. I mean, obviously, if you go diamond, we're talking about Old Town Road level hysteria and virality surrounding the song.
On the billboards for 26 weeks in a row, number one. You know what I'm saying? In a row, weeks in a row, like setting. It was the biggest song of the last decade. Like, that song's amazing. We were in such a dark, random place. We were on the road a lot. The first verse, like that, I don't know if you're familiar with movie songs. There's a lot of people on movie songs, and like they often, you know, they have a publishing company that kind of shops around their peoples, and like, you know, 1 million people are on one song by the time they get to the last 3 or 4 people on it. And at the time, there's a lot of people on the song. Wiz, he had a crazy like situation going on in his family. I had a death of my grandma. Like at the time, I was on the road, couldn't make it to the funeral. And we went to Snoop's studio, the Compound. Shout out Uncle Snoop. R.I.P. Uncle Junebug. It was me, Snoop, Uncle Junebug, DJ Pooh, and Wiz. And Wiz wasn't feeling it, but he always goes to Uncle Snoop for the energy. Great guy, great leader. And we were sitting there doing it. Will called us like, you have to give us a verse. A lot of people were on the song. We sent back Wiz's first verse. They said they loved it, took everybody off the song, put Charlie back on it because he originally wrote it, composed it, all that stuff, because there's a different singer on the hook. And they told us to do another song, like another verse. So we recorded another verse, and then they tried to have us do some revisions to add it to the movie part. But like, I was never familiar with putting a movie, like a video in Pro Tools. They brought us into there. They let us see the actual end scene of the movie. Every guy in there had to thug, like, you know, that one tear, like, I ain't crying, like, you know, but we didn't think it was like that. You know, we just thought it was like, oh, great song. Blew up. It just started going. And it's just like, damn. And the amazing part about it is that it's always going to be played at every funeral and every like graduation, man, every good time, every good moment. Doesn't matter who we are, no matter what language we speak. We're all going to understand that same feeling. And that's the thing I get to tell my son. So I'm expecting my son here in September is like, your dad was able to be a part of a song that everybody listens to and feels the same. No matter what walk of life, no matter where we're from, we all feel the same. And to be able to see people do it, that shit is crazy. But, you know, it's for all the naysayers, man. I'm a college dropout. I didn't go to college for none of this shit. I didn't go to audio engineer school. Nobody taught me how to properly engineer, but I figured it out. And going diamond is another thing that, like, I didn't even shout out to my wife. She got me the plaque. I forgot about it, bro. Like, I'll be so tunnel vision. Her, Seth, and Will was able to get that for me for a birthday gift last year, and I get to show it up. Like, people walk past it. Like, you know, when people ask to go to the bathroom for my A room, it's like, yeah, walk right past there. You know, walk past the diamond plaque? Yeah, right there. And it's not a flex. It's one of those things like, yo, bro, I tell everybody to come see it, do it. I am a perfect example for you. Somebody that might not have all the shit counted for you. You could do it. You just got to work. Just work. Please, just work. And God will bless you, or whoever you believe in, whether it's aliens or law. Illuminati, whatever, you know, whatever you believe in, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Right now we're gonna get the blood sacrifice comments. Who did Ricky?
Hey, I'm Blade. I'm a cousin from Blade. All right, I'm not an Illuminati, guys, but I am a day walker, bro. I'm a day walker. I'm up all day and night dealing with rappers. I'm a day walker. What's the second thing? Get to the second thing. That was the first thing going diamond. I know we still have 13 minutes. Or not even. It's like probably
9.
5. Oh, better.
Yeah, 9 is better than 5. Okay, so then talk about, because this was the number. I don't know if it still is. I'm sure it's still on the charts, but let me find this. I'm all over the place. The DJ Khaled record. You're a part of that album.
Yeah, I did it. I did it record.
And it was or is a number 1 album.
Yeah, it went number 1. Yeah, it went number 1.
That's the number 1 for you. That's another one.
Yeah. That one was tight. Shout out to Baby. We were working on his deluxe album last year, whenever he got the call, like, out of nowhere from Khaled, you know. How you see it on the videos, how that nigga called people randomly and it just, like, you know, he gets the vocals and it just gets sent in. It's how it happens, bro. The nigga called him, yeah, I need the vocals, sing the song. He sent it right back to him. He's like, yeah. And, you know, then all of a sudden I seen on his album thing, the track list, that, you know, the Baby and Meg Thee Stallion, because it was just the Baby and Meg Thee Stallion on the song. They didn't even have the hook part. And that shit went, I was like, oh, okay. And I heard it back and I had my business partner. I'm like, we own it. I hit his management. They're like, yeah, we got you guys in it. It's like yes. Like, it's definitely a win for engineers and for the studio. You know, the studio, shout out Sonny, it's Kush Factory Studios. I run that. We had this only open for 2 years. Like, we started this 2 years ago, building it from the ground up. And, you know, construction of studios aren't really easy. And, you know, that song came about. It was a blessing. It's another one of those blessings that just like, hey, constantly being able to come in here and being able to do what you got to do at a high frequency. Doesn't matter. Last year we were able to do so with Tory, Trippy. Those were like some of the bigger projects too that we were on. And even the Baby, because he did his joints like Peephole and No Dribble. He did that shit here on his deluxe album. So it was like, it's constantly just keeping in the mix. And to every guys out there, all these guys, take those sessions, those nights when you don't want to do it. That was a day where I was like, tired. It was an afternoon session, random. He was like, yeah, I'm around the corner. Can I pull up on you? I really wasn't feeling it, but like, I'm always like, fuck it. Ask Seth. Seth's always like, can I pull up on you? I'm like, yeah, pull up. Fuck it. Like, let's get it done.
That happened the other night, too. We were about to go out, literally about to go out. Someone hit Rick. He's like, cool, I'm going to stay here. Go do your thing. That's just going to take that chance and nothing happened that night. You know what I'm saying? You got to take that chance every time.
Well, so what led up to that? What kind of relationship building were you doing with the baby to the point where not only is he recording, because it's not like you were working with him early. He's already huge. He's already won the Grammy.
He was already big. Whenever I started working with him, shout out Sonny, my business partner. They like the Kush Factor dispensary. They were going past there, and he came into business with me because he wanted to get into management. And like the baby kept coming past, like, yo, I got a studio. It's ran by Ricky P. Shout out Stunner 4 Vegas. He recognized me from the shit I did with Wiz. And he's like, yeah, bro, all right. And then they came through, and it's funny because the first time we recorded with the baby, you know, it was definitely rough. Like, you know, first time, I'm already here. I don't care who you are. Get me right. And I got him right. He came back. And that's when we did Peephole. And that was the first time he ever heard me use auto-tune. And he was like, oh, you know how to use auto-tune, but don't make me know how to sound like I'm on auto-tune? Like, all right, bet. And it was like, okay, cool. And it was just like a progressive working relationship that I could always be there for him and always like be willing to just work and just shut the fuck up. I don't be talking to that man. I'm Ricky P, but I was trying to tell motherfuckers, I'm Ricky P and I'm still in the studio. Like, I don't talk. I'm here to get the song done for you. Now, if we're joking around, when there's time to joke around, yeah. But no, the baby, it was a straight working relationship. Shout out everybody on his team. They're all hardworking people. It was just straight built off of, okay, cool, that's tight, you did that, let's work. No, like it was built off of that first engineer session and going on. But I like those. I don't care that I did that. Let's work. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind proving it to any artist that, you know, I'm willing to get the job done. It's not to be a dick piss contest. I'm just trying to get the song done. Because you never know. You never know if you get that song done, it could go diamond. You never know. You get that verse done, it goes diamond. Like Pull Up. Uzi came in and did that. Like we had a whole song. We were working on Cabin Fever 3. He came in and we did that song, and we weren't really doing nothing with it. Took his verses off, put Wiz on that bitch, and bow. Another plaque. Had TM redo the 808s and the hi-hats. Me and TM only made one beat, and it went. It's about to go platinum now. We only made one beat, it went plat.
So then you had already been recording the baby, and then out of nowhere, DJ Khaled just calls him up, and
it was.
He happens to be in the area.
He had a session. He already had a session for himself. We were working on his deluxe album, and just, you know, Khaled gave him the call. You know, he's like, hey, I need your vocals, and nigga loaded it up, and I forgot about the song, and then I looked up, like I said, on the credits, hit them up, and like, yeah, that's it, and it went up. So it was like, that's another notch. And that bridge, it inked a nice bridge with me and Khaled's team and shit like that. It got the contact. It allowed, now it's like, okay, cool, that we're working relationship that like, yeah, you can get the vocals back, you can get the session, there's no complications, everything's done to what he asked for on the conversation, you know? There's no complications. And that's another thing too. It's like, it was the win-win. Win for the drop, but also for the relationship, man. I'm looking down the road. You know, I've been in this thing for a long time, man, and I love staying in it, and I'm going to be in it for a even more longer time, you know, and that situation is a constant, it's a learning lesson. Always stay on your toes.
Okay, then last question, because we're running out of time, but this is important, and I definitely want to do a part 2, and people in the chat are already demanding.
Let's do it. Like
okay,
I said, I'm on your team. Okay,
so it's going to happen. But the last question is then, you keep talking about you're looking down the road. Obviously, both of you are very future oriented. In both of your experiences, what has been the most valuable habit or action or series of actions to stay in the game, to create longevity for yourselves?
What I say, Steph, you got to get them reps in. You gotta get those reps in, man.
Yeah, you can't cheat the process. I think even like See You Again is a perfect example of like, you just have to be operating at a certain frequency that will even give you a chance to reach a height like that. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to stay in the studio, stay creative, stay working on your mental health, do all the things that can put you in a position to, you know, then one goes up. Pain. I'm sure no one can have a career like you have without having that mentality as well, bro. You have hella records. And it's like, that didn't come from you making, like, if you have 20 or 30 placements, that didn't come from you making 20 or 30 beats. That came from you making 1,000 beats or more. So you just got to stay on that frequency that's going to give you the opportunity to go up. I think it's a succession of actions. It's not one ever.
You said it better than me. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Like I said, all I'd add is just get them reps in, bro. You can't, like you said.
Actually, sorry, one more thing.
You good, sir.
One thing that I pulled from like a Gary Vee interview was that he says like 10% of your time should be spent in the clouds, which he means like strategizing and thinking about the future, and 90% of your time should be on the ground, like putting the work in. So you need both of those things. You have to be putting the work in with the 24 hours ahead of you, and then you need to take that like few hours a week or something to plan and reassess and see if the work that you were putting in like moved you forward or not. And then, okay, if not, what do we need to do differently? So.
Okay, cool. On that note, shout out your social media. I think both of you already have your social media in your display names, right?
The Real Ricky P is everything. Is The Real Ricky P. If you're an upcoming producer, hit me up. Upcoming artist, hit me up. Don't be afraid. Shoot your shot. I'm like DJ Payne. I'm trying to help out. Y'all.
Yeah, really Goldsmith. Right here.
On my socials.
All right, well, stay tuned for part 2. Once again, I want to thank both of you for taking your time.
2, 3, 4, 5, 5, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Seth will be on 4. He might be on 5. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Might be too big. Might be Diddy in there. Yeah. Might go to his podcast. He might go to his network by then. You know.